Hey everybody, Todd Turowski here, financial advisor and partner at High Point Capital Group in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with another video in our series called Finance Matters. Go to TurowskiHitchcock.com for other videos. Today we're going to talk about 1099s and why one of yours might not be in your hands just yet. So the first thing you have to ask yourself with 1099s is my account an IRA or not? So if it's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, you actually do not get a 1099 for any activity in that IRA throughout the year. You only get a 1099 if you've taken money out of the account. Preferably, you haven't done that if you're not retired, but if you are, you'll get a 1099-R only for the amount you've taken out of the account, and then that 1099 is probably in your hands by now. Other 1099s like 1099-Bs for the sale of investments, those usually come by now. And then you have 1099 INT for interest, 1099 DIV for dividends. Those usually come by now as well. Quick note on 1099 interest. If you had less than $10 of interest for the year, you generally speaking will not get a 1099 for that. And that has been really common in the last few years with interest rates being really low. So let's move on to what's called a consolidated 1099. Now, for investors that have something called a brokerage account, sometimes your advisor will call it a wealth management account. Somebody's helping you manage your money, or maybe you do it on your own, but you have a brokerage firm that you keep your money with. A consolidated 1099 is going to have everything on one statement for interest, dividends, sale of investments, capital gains distributions, and some other information as well. And so it's important to remember that your brokerage firm cannot send you a 1099 for all of that information until they've received everything they need from the investments that you hold in the account. So let's go through an example. You have a brokerage account, and inside of it is a mutual fund. Now, that mutual fund paid out capital gains distributions for 2018. Now, the capital gains distributions usually don't get paid out until way at the end of the year. And so your brokerage firm cannot report all of what went on all those different investments until that mutual fund and any other mutual funds have given them everything they need. So the guideline was always that they could get those 1099s to you as late as February 15th, but it was just a guideline. There's actually no rule that says when they have to be out at this point. They typically do come in mid to late February, and sometimes I've seen them as late as early March. Now, if you're in a hurry to do your tax return, it's just important to know that, number one, try to have a checklist of all the 1099s that you need and make sure you've double checked it before submitting your taxes either online on your own or with a professional accountant. Now, if you do your taxes too early, it's really likely you're going to end up having to do what's called an amended return. So if you're in a hurry to do your return, maybe because you don't want to have a fraud situation, just understand that you'll have to do an amended return once any other final 1099s come in, or even a lot of times with these brokerage accounts in a consolidated 1099, they'll send out a corrected 1099 sometime after you've gotten what's called a preliminary one. So be patient, wait for all the information to come in. If you're in that much of a hurry to do your return, plan on doing an amendment. Just know that that could cost you a little extra, and then you'll be fine after that. So if you have any questions, reach out to us at TurowskiHitchcock.com and look for more videos on capital gains distributions and other tax and financial matters.